What is going on, guys? You are listening to WSOU. I am Nick, and I'm here with a very special guest, Garrett Russell of Silent Planet. What's going on, man?
Hey, man. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Always a pleasure to talk to you. And it's been a little while since we last spoke, but a lot of big things have happened since then. We last spoke while you were recording the new album, which actually coincidentally drops today. Everything was sound. And it was really cool to talk to you about the development of the album and, you know, where your headspace was at that time. Where are you now looking back at, you know, because I know it was a little bit of, it seemed like, you know, you weren't always in the best headspace when I talked to you. So where are you now looking back at the process of putting this album together? It comes out today. I know a lot of people are hyped about it. I love the album. Where are you at?
Thank you.
Of course.
I'm pretty relaxed, you know, now that I'm pretty heavily involved with every aspect of the band.
Right.
You know, as far as like social media or like stress or just, you know, really whatever goes into an album release. I feel like I'm usually somewhere nearby. And that's, you know, it's fun. It's been what I've done since I was 19 and I'm 26 and stuff. You know, this being my baby, every time we have a release, it's almost like a new child's on the way or something. It kind of becomes like the focal point of my day. Most days I'm kind of waking up figuring, okay, you know, what are we doing today as we're rolling out the record and
right.
stuff. Yeah, today's always very interesting for me because I've kind of, I mean, all my bandmates, you know, everyone in my band and our manager and stuff are there for the whole process of it.
Right.
But you know, I guess especially with like different interviews and stuff, it's definitely a lot of it is kind of my reality every day, which is always interesting. So yeah, all that to say, man, I'm relaxed and I'm excited to have it out, and I do admit I'm enjoying kind of reading people's, you know, views of it,
right,
and hearing what people have to say, and obviously mostly seeing, you know, positive stuff because, you know, for the most part, a lot of the stuff I see are from my friends on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think a lot of the people who don't like it, I might not see their stuff right away, but I look forward to also hearing what people don't like about it, or, you know, I think anytime a band pushes forward their sound, folks are just kind of like, some people are like, oh man, yeah, this is exactly the band I always knew you were. And other people were like, wait a second, you weren't allowed to do that. Like, you know, you're not supposed to do that, man. You're supposed to make every song fill in the blank, you know?
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is really cool about this album is, you know, the last album kind of put you guys on the map. Not a lot of people knew about you beforehand, and then it hit a lot of people fast. I remember, you know, I heard it a month before it came out without knowing who you were, and was like, when this comes out, people are going to listen, and it's exactly what happened. So I thought this album, you know, it's almost like, you know, it's a little bit of a different thing because now people have expectations. You know, they heard The Night God Slept and had, you know, what's the next album going to be like? Is it going to be better? Is it going to be bigger? And it definitely exceeded my expectations, and it seems like a lot of other people's expectations. Did that have kind of, you know, a voice in your head? Because this is a little different than the last album where a lot of people actually had expectations now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely nervous in the studio, nervous. There's a lot of things leading up to it. I wouldn't say that, like, I didn't really doubt what we were doing. Right. But I was nervous just as far as because this is my baby.
Exactly.
I guess this band thing. It's like every time, I think we took a real risk with this baby, you could say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like we water birthed it. It's like, okay, if it's in the ground, how's that work, you know? And just, I mean, first of all, this record was written and recorded within a, like, finite period of time.
Right.
The Night God Slept was just kind of just song after song whenever we had a moment.
Okay.
You know? And we weren't really touring a lot as much. And so, in general, we had the luxury of just really, like, doing stuff. And this record, I don't think we felt rushed because we've been writing it for, you know, probably, we've been writing it for, I would say, a solid year.
Okay.
From today. And, but still, it's just like, or actually, I'm sorry, I more than a year. I would say a year and a half, probably, now that I'm really thinking about it. Probably about a year and a half of solid writing for this record. But, it's, in my opinion, and I'd love to get your opinion, in my opinion, it's a little less metalcore.
I would agree with you.
Especially the production. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that the production of it is more organic and sounds more like a live band.
Right.
And you can distinguish the parts. There's less, like, distortion, compression, whatever. And it's just, I guess, I don't know. I mean, I don't think our last record was ever, like, predictable, but it definitely at the end of the day sounded like a metalcore band with some non-metalcore elements. And this time I feel like there's some decent chunks of the record that I don't even know if they're really metalcore anymore. So I'm kind of curious to see what you think.
I definitely agree with you. I remember because I got a link probably, I think 2 weeks ago of the full album and listened to it through. And I was definitely, I didn't really know what to expect because I know we had talked about how it was a little bit different than The Night God Slept. So I didn't really know where exactly it was going to go. And I agree that it's not as metalcore, but it definitely, you didn't, go too far enough from the sound where, you're a different band or you changed, completely, which I like. Because I remember the very opening of the album, I thought kind of caught me with okay, this is, something different, but a good different. And even Panic Room itself, which is still, it's my favorite off this album. Maybe it'll change over time, but the elements of that, it was definitely a Silent Planet song. But the beginning part, I really like it, and I thought it was really different for you guys with the kind of spoken word, almost like rapped verse, the first verse.
Yeah.
I really liked that, and it really stuck out. And I think stuff like that is what really makes you guys you, is you have those little things that kind of separate it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Definitely, we've always wanted to, we don't want things to be like off limits because other bands don't do them. Because honestly, like, I'm not trying to sound cool here. We don't really pay too much attention to like what's going on, in like in Warped Tour land, which is funny because we're on Warped Tour.
Exactly.
But, like, we're not really like the cool band who's like, at all the Warped Tour parties and like, hey man, just being like the center of attention. That's just not really us. Right. I think we love getting to know people and getting to know what they're about. But we're also, I don't know, we're kind of nerdy and like we're pretty poor. So most of the times that we have free time, we're trying to figure out like a free place to eat or a free place to sleep. And our van doesn't really have AC, so we're like trying to find some cold air. So it's kind of funny because we're totally like the nerd scrubs, I think, as far as accessibility in this world. We're not, we don't like super belong almost. And so, when we do stuff, I genuinely don't know if people are going to be like, this is sick, or if people are going to be like, what the heck, dude, this is stupid, and so it's always funny because we just go with like what seems most honest and most real. Right. And like we make music for the people we love and for God and for ourselves, and we're not like crazy worried about like anything else. And
exactly.
I hope and I feel confident that we'll never have so much success that all of a sudden we have like some like sketchy dude who's like, all right, boys, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to wear this.
Exactly.
Yep.
Like, yep.
That's bullshit. And it's like, man, but that stifles creativity. And so we'll see what happens. But very much, thankful that you've been on this little road with us.
Oh yeah, of course.
For a while now, and for anyone who's listening, clearly you're on a journey with us because you're listening to an interview. So thank you.
And that's another thing I want to talk about Warped Tour, but right before that, I think another aspect of why you guys are so special and a lot of people stick with you is because you bring something more than just the music itself. It's the themes, the topics that you speak on. No one else is really doing it as genuine as you are, and as, really taking it to a whole nother level, with The Night God Slept, with the concept of, all these historical events that had kind of gone, unspoken about, and brought a lot of it. I really think that a lot of the topics you touched on, at least in, the scene, have been, a lot of people now have an understanding of things that they didn't originally have an understanding for. And now with this album, with the concept of all of the different mental disorders, I think you're bringing something bigger than just music to the scene, which is why you're so special to a lot of people.
Well, I appreciate that. I definitely, I tell a lot of people at shows, like, if they ever seem like starstruck to meet me, which is silly, but maybe I've met a few young people who are like, whoa, it's really you, or people who are just kind of like, this is the best day of my life. I try to bring it to reality. Like, hey man, like everything in this world, in my opinion, is so ephemeral.
Right.
And like, especially Warped Tour, like in 10 hours, all these buses will be gone. Everything will be packed up.
Yep.
And will be on its way to the next city, and it's all gone. And it's like, I just tell people, like, find something real, find something true. I found the truth in eternity in Jesus. I don't have an interest in like turning everything into a sermon to people, because I think God's a lot bigger than my stupid sermons could ever be. But I just tell people, like, it's like find something real. Like, so many bands are telling people, just do whatever the hell you want, man. It's your life.
Right.
Blah blah blah. But it's like, you realize that is true. In the adolescent stage of life, we're supposed to realize our autonomy and like celebrate our freedom and make our own choices. But when you move out of the adolescent stage and into adulthood, I hope that isn't just adolescence 2.0, and that
Right.
you realize that, I have like a life, and like for most people, I have like the physical health, the mental health, the financial health to change people's lives forever.
Exactly.
To make this world a better place.
Yes. Yep.
So that when your kids are born, you can say, like, dude, I fought for the rights of others, or like I tried to push people out of poverty. You did something with your life.
Right.
And those are the people that end up living lives that they would live all over again,
Oh yeah.
And I'm not trying to like push adolescence into adulthood too quickly. I hope not. But at the same time, man, I just, I want to talk about these things, because I don't think that my band is anything like special to where like we're going to change the world. And I know that it's all going to be done someday. And I know that I just yell into a microphone. And at the age of 26, I should probably be pretty close to my PhD right now that I was working on, but I'm doing this. Because, dude, the point is, like, that none of this, I don't want this to be the point. I want these stories, these people, I want mindfulness, and hopefully for some people out there, the love of Jesus to be what they've experienced out of this. Because all that stuff is a lot bigger than Silent Planet, Warped Tour shows, all that,
Right. I think that, obviously you're very, very humble about it, but I really do think that you, by doing what you are doing, though, that you definitely are really making a change, though, because you made it kind of seem like, it wasn't, but I really think you are, though. I don't know if maybe you not see it as much, but I really do think so.
Well, thank you. I mean, we'll see what happens. It's I definitely have a theory that our music genre, that this music scene can be very I don't know what word I'm kind of capricious with trends, and with what it chooses. And I definitely know that it'd be very easy for us to all of a sudden be like the most uncool thing ever, and like I wouldn't be caught dead wearing a Silent Planet shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's possible to, under oath, like if we're being real, like Under Oath is, in my opinion, one of the best bands ever. And so nothing about what I'm about to say is going to bag on those guys. Like, those guys are, I think, the most important, like, heavy music band of the last, like, 20 years.
Right.
But, you know, there was a time in place about when they broke up that, like, you know, their record sales went down very drastically from their previous releases, and their show attendance went down, you know what I mean? And they didn't become a worse band. Like, in my opinion, when Aaron Gillespie left, they by no means, like, suffered in talent. Like, they remained just so much, in my opinion, so superior to, like, every other band that exists. But you know, it's just a kind of a new generation of kids where, like, you know, oh, you know, their pants aren't quite as tight as they should be, or, like, you know, that guy doesn't have, like, the right tattoos. And, you know, a lot of the very, very silly kind of peripheral stuff that captures the attention of a lot of this music scene, maybe they didn't represent anymore, you know?
Right.
This was, of course, at a time when, you know, jumping up and down to synchronize, like, tech music and playing, like, simple breakdowns and using the F word every other sentence was like, wow, that is very cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. They weren't doing that. And so watching what happened to that, it's like, you know, by no means, I will never know, like, how many people want to hear our music, because I'm very aware that, like, it's not the most accessible thing, you know?
And that's why I want to touch on, because I remember we've talked about a couple of times how, you know, not that you almost knocked Warped Tour a couple of times. I remember when we talked previously about, oh, you know, like, we're not one of those Warped Tour bands, like, we don't, you know, we're not in that kind of scene. And it did catch me slightly by surprise when I found out that you guys were playing this year. So kind of talk to me about your experience so far, and that, you know, where you stand on all that.
You know, I mean, there's so many. A lot of times when you talk about something like Warped Tour, you know, you could be talking about, like, the culture or the persona, or you could just be talking about the festival itself. And so I would start by saying the festival itself is just incredible. One of the best things that's ever happened to music in general in America. You know, Kevin Lyman has been doing this thing for, I think it's like 26 or 27 years now.
Something, yeah, it's 20-something years.
And so much of the money goes back to charity and, like, people in poverty. And, like, and so much of the money also just goes to bands who, like, you know, bands that would often be playing for maybe $500 a night, all of a sudden are getting, like, $1,200 a day. And trust me, that's not us. But I do know a lot of bands on this tour. It's like, man, I've been on tour with you guys before. Like, we were both getting tiny guarantees, and you are getting that much. And that's awesome, because these bands work hard, and they're away from their families. And, like, you know, it's not as important as sending money to refugees in you know, fleeing Syria. But I also think it's actually pretty cool to, like, give money to, like, you know, band guys who usually are working very hard and are, you know, hopefully going to spend that money in a positive way and help their family and their friends. And so, like, it does so much good with the money that it generates, because a lot of money comes in, and where the money dishes out is pretty cool, you know, compared to, like, I don't know, Walmart, you know, and so much stuff in this world. And so I think the festival as an entity is incredible. You know, referring to, you know, the previous interviews where I for sure would have, you know, said we're not totally a Warped Tour band. I think I've, you know, after watching kind of lineups and looking back and looking forward, I think that Warped Tour is, you know, from year to year, kind of almost represents something slightly different, you know, as far as musically and stuff. And I mean, I would still agree. I don't think that we are, like, the, like, down the middle, like, this band's made for Warped Tour. You know, I don't think that we are. I see the bands on main stage. I see the biggest bands on Monster stage, and all cool bands. But I don't know if we would be, like, the ones that are making a sound that would necessarily inherit that. However, being on Warped Tour, we've seen a huge outpouring of support, and I've realized that being here has allowed us to play for a lot of people who have known who we are, but just maybe aren't so connected to their local music scene that they're going to know when we come through on like a small room tour that plays for 400 people a night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But they will be here, and then they'll see us. And so that's awesome. And like the opportunity of being here is like such a huge thank you to like Kevin Lyman and all those folks for letting us do it. And you know, we're super interested to see like where relationship with Warped Tour would go. But yeah, at the same time, I think I mean, you know, I don't think it's even a secret on the tour. I've had a lot of people be like, whoa, like I've never really heard a band like you at Vans Warped Tour, you know? And so it's I don't think I don't even know if we're enough on the Warped Tour staff's radar to even be thinking about how Silent Planet doing. But I can tell you that we are very interested in still every day, like kind of learning something about how this goes. But, you know, in sum, Warped Tour is a festival. I would say it's an incredible thing, very well run, very honest, helps a lot of people, both people in poverty, helps a lot of young people have something cool to do for a day in the summer, and helps a lot of bands sustain their careers.
Oh,
and
definitely.
Go for longer, frankly.
Yeah.
Like, extends the actual lives of bands. And for all the music that touches lives, a lot of that goes back to Warped Tour, because this is like the one time when bands are like, even slightly in the realm of like professional music, you know, in our world. And so I think it's great as an entity. But I definitely think musically it's an interesting thing when you play heavy music, but you do it in the manner that we do it. It's like, I'm interested to see how it fits, you know, cause
yeah.
it's in the summer. People came to mosh to jump around and throw their hands up. And that's not exactly like the point of what we're here to do. And so, I'm really interested to see if we ever have the honor to come back and do like maybe a stage like Monster or something. I'm really interested to see what happens, you know, when like we play maybe between two like pretty heavy kind of like chug and do a lot of breakdown bands. I'm really interested to see what happens there, because right now we're on a stage where it's like kind of pop punk, acoustic, hardcore bands, and electronic bands. It's kind of all small bands that are like making their debut.
Right.
So I don't really know I still don't know totally how we fit in the world of like heavy Warped Tour music. Because right now we're kind of on experimental stage, and I really love it, by the way, because I'm hearing awesome bands like the band like Pacific.
Okay, yeah.
From Toronto, So Sick. Hail the Sun.
Okay.
Is probably the most talented band on our stage. Just like Donovan, their singer/drummer, is like a actual machine. I don't know if I've ever met someone that musically gifted in my life. You know, Old Wounds is playing like just really heavy, aggressive music.
They're from Jersey. Good old Jersey boys.
Yeah, they're from Jersey. And they're, With Confidence from Australia.
Okay.
Like it's a really fun stage, and a lot of days I think, dude, this is great. You know, we get such a diversity, but at the same time, you know, I am curious what would happen if we were, you know, on Monster, where a lot of people are like, why aren't you on Monster? And I'm like, oh, well, you know, they're kind of trying this out. But if we ever were on Monster, it would be fascinating to me, to say the least, to see how it works out. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
We'll see.
All right, so let's see here. So how have you kind of been meshing with, you know, all the other bands? Has there been, you know, bands that you've kind of gotten, you know, to know a little bit, or is there bands that you want to kind of check out you haven't, you know, because I know, you know, every night or so everyone kind of gets together to hang out. Is there any band that you guys have kind of grown towards?
I would say the Hail the Sun dudes.
Okay. We've
hung out with and talked to the most. And I think we both have kind of expressed to each other a mutual, like, interest in each other on music, which is fun, because my whole band is, I mean, I'm going to be honest, my band's fairly critical. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, you know how bands are just, like, think that everything's great,
right,
but then they get behind closed doors and the microphones turn off and, like, the real opinions kind of start coming out.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, seriously, the honest opinion of my band, that, like, Hail the Sun's one of the coolest live bands we've ever seen. And so that's been really cool. all the bands on our stage are super nice. There's a band called Mother Feather from Brooklyn, and they play like really. Their set is pretty bizarre to most people. There's two women front the band, and they really talk about like feminism in a really interesting way. And they wear like really bright neon colors. And there's a part of the set where she like puts the microphone in her mouth and just starts like shrieking into it. And it goes from like kind of pretty and catchy to like really grungy and like confusing. And it's just they're like the nicest people, and they like watch our set every day, and it's so cool. And so it's on our stage there's been some camaraderie. Unfortunately, we really still haven't met any of the heavy bands like on like Monster, because they're kind of always in their own area. And
okay.
Our stage is being kind of the smallest stage is definitely not really in like prime real estate location, So we kind of just hang out mostly with those people. And like I said, we don't have like a bandwagon or a bus like a lot of bands, and so that means that we don't have AC really.
Okay.
Which means that usually when Warp's over, we're like trying to drive to find like a living room floor that we can like crash on for 4 hours.
Right.
To be honest, it's been kind of a nonstop push to like find and sleep so that we can get through this without getting pneumonia or some weird sleep deprivation sickness.
Now, I know that we touched on briefly earlier, Under Oath. I know that you had Spencer on this album. Now, you got to tell me, that must have been a really awesome experience to have, such a big, I know obviously, Under Oath's a big influence on you guys, to have that be a part of your new album.
Yeah, that was amazing. I saw it in some article. I don't know what, someone screenshot it. Some person I did an interview with, and I guess what they got from it is that Spencer wrote our album. I was like, hold on. Spencer just came in for a day, and we wrote some Psych Escape, like, lyrical parts together. But, he came in, like, 2 days before the record was over. Anyways, I was like, I should probably set the record straight. Like, we didn't write our album. We write our own music.
That's so funny.
But anyways, that was amazing. Spencer's such a good dude. He's giving me a lot of wisdom about vocal stuff, about band career choices, just a lot of stuff. And really just, he's such an honest, cool guy. And he found something worth liking in Silent Planet. And that's awesome to us. And he's definitely, yes, it's an honor. Like, he's definitely one of the greatest, vocalists, frontman, whatever, to ever be part of this music genre that we're in. And so it's an honor to know him. And I think he's actually going to come out to the New York date and hang out.
Oh, awesome. That's really cool. I remember I interviewed Tim, the guitarist from Under Oath, right before the Rebirth tour, and he was asking me, because I asked him, like, are you going to do openers? Like, how is this going to work for the tour? And he goes, well, who would you want to see open? And you were the first people I threw out. I was like, you need to have Silent Planet open the Rebirth tour. Like, you need to do, like, there's no other option.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, what did you say? Because I'm guessing this was probably before he knew us?
Probably. This was I talked, when was that? That had to have been end of last year, probably.
Yeah, because he didn't really know us until he came into the studio and we hung out, and then we kind of hit it off.
Okay.
That was like February 3rd or 4th.
Okay. Yeah, that was actually, it was probably right after we talked. I remember January. You were in the studio, I remember.
Yeah. We talked kind of middle of the record, I think.
Yeah. That was probably roughly around when that was.
Yeah.
Another thing, this is just a random little thing I wanted to touch on, because I saw one of your tweets yesterday, and I'm a big fan. Chick-fil-A. What's your go-to Chick-fil-A order?
Oh, number 4, no pickles.
No pickles?
But, well, actually, to be fair, I usually do keep the pickles on it, because I feed it to my guys. But if I'm by myself, number 4, no pickles. But if I'm with someone and I can put the pickles into their mouth, that gives me greater pleasure, and I'll keep the pickles.
You gotta go extra pickles.
Oh my gosh, number 4 though.
I like a number 4.
Yeah.
Okay, because I saw your tweet yesterday, and I was like, that Chick-fil-A is my favorite place. And I was like, yes, Chick-fil-A.
Well, yeah, because you probably read that. Then Chick-fil-A keeps us alive. We call them for free food all the time.
Yeah, I know. I see that. You guys are always there. It's so cool that they take care of you guys like that.
They're amazing.
They really are.
Thank you for having